I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to talk about this team. I never like talking about this team, but unfortunately, I'm going to talk about this team. It's your boy Barberchair Scott here, man, and we are going to talk about the Chicago Bulls and why I think this is the worst era of Bulls basketball ever. Yes, ever. I'm talking about even worse than when they were one of the first expansion teams in the NBA. First of all, you're new to this channel, press subscribe right there. Right there, little subscription button right there. Press subscribe on there and do your thing. Leave a comment, turn your notifications on. I'm dropping a lot of content on here, man. A lot of content we're gonna be doing. So I appreciate everybody who's supporting my media journey. We're starting off here, and we trying to get to the big time, man. So I appreciate everybody, man. While you edit, follow me at Barberchair Scott on all social media platforms. The link is in the description box, man. As you can see, I told y'all, and I'm not gonna hold y'all that the background was under construction. As you can see right here, we're talking about this team. Yeah, this team. I don't know which way I'm pointing. This team right here, the Chicago Bulls. This is back to glory days. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is Michael Jordan hoisting up his fifth NBA Finals trophy, and that was the fifth NBA championship trophy that this franchise won, 5 out of 6. But that's been a long time since 1997. 1997 was 28 years ago. How was I in 97? I was 8 going on 9 when this particular moment happened. I was 8 years old going on 9. This was my second year watching basketball. I started watching basketball. The first sports memory I have, period, is the 1996 NBA Finals, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. I remember watching Mike and the Bulls just blow out the Seattle Supersonics, and that was my first time seeing Michael Jordan. Obviously, as a kid, we all knew Michael Jordan was, especially living in Chicago. But that was the first time I actually watched him play, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And I started watching basketball, so I was privileged enough to remember the last 3 NBA championships. And I feel bad for a lot of my Bulls fans friends who are younger than me who don't remember that, and I remember the tail end of it, very very tail end of it. But I'm here to tell you that it's bad. It's bad, bro. Like I saw a lot of frustration this weekend on my Twitter timeline when the Bulls traded Lonzo Ball to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro. Now, in my opinion, player to player, I don't think this is a bad trade. Honestly, I know a lot of people are like, oh. Now, if your issue is they didn't get any draft picks, I will 100% agree with you. And for some reason, Arturas Karnizovas just doesn't like draft picks. I mean, for some reason, every trade, it didn't get a first rounder for Alex Caruso. He ended up winning a championship and was very important in that OKC Thunder run to win the NBA championship. We saw he didn't get any first rounders or even any big picks for DeMar DeRozan, or he didn't get it for Zach LaVine. He was hoarding them so long. And we're seeing right now that I can guarantee if and when Kobe White gets traded, they're not getting any draft picks for him either. So I don't understand that. I get that. But we talk from a player-to-player basis, I don't think it's that bad of a trade. But that's not even the point. The point is the Chicago Bulls are fine with mediocrity, and they're going to be mediocre until this team is sold, hopefully. I mean, I don't know what's going to go on with that. We already know that Jerry Reinsdorf has a deal in place for ownership of the Chicago White Sox to change hands to billionaire owner Justin Ishbia. And even that's got like some, different caveats in it. We've got, 2030 is the earliest he can just say, forget all this. I'm taking ownership of this and things like that. Or is it 2034? I don't know. It's a lot. But at least there's a plan there. There's light at the end of the tunnel that there will be a new owner for the Chicago White Sox. I don't see it happening with the Bulls, at least not by Jerry. I think the only hope that this fan base probably have is that when Jerry Reinsdorf does eventually pass away, we're not, hoping for anybody to die here, but when he does pass away, he's very old, so his better days are past him. The only hope you got is that Michael Reinsdorf decides to sell this team, because if you look at all of these major sports teams being sold, especially in the NBA, we've seen the Phoenix Suns get sold. We've seen, Boston Celtics got sold at the beginning of the NBA season. The Los Angeles Lakers just went for $10 billion. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to get as much as the Lakers, but I do believe that the Bulls can get $8 to $9 billion and set the Reinsdorfs up for life. That's the only chance that you really got. Or maybe think that maybe if he keeps the team, Michael Reinsdorf actually has some accountability. But we have seen nothing of that. One thing we learned about the Bulls really forever, real honestly forever. Like I'm trying to think since I've been a Bulls fan, all you got to do is be an employee and like Jerry Reinsdorf, and your job is straight. I mean, Jerry Cross, in my opinion, is the best general manager in the city of Chicago, in history of Chicago ever. You say what you want about him. He drafted Scottie Pippen, drafted Horace Grant. He went out there and traded for Dennis Rodman. They won those 6 NBA championships. And even after that, even during the Baby Bulls era, he drafted some really good people. Drafted Jamal Crawford, drafted Brad Miller, drafted Ron Artest, drafted Elton Brand. So he had some good things. And I think one thing about the Bulls fans is we loathe the Garpax era. Like it was 20 years, way too long. And I think the biggest issue with the Garpax era was we never landed the big fish. You remember the summer of 2010 where everybody thought we was going to get LeBron James. Did not happen. Thought we were going to get Dwayne Wade. Did not happen. It makes it even worse when you hear both of them tell the stories that they were going to sign with Chicago, but Chicago couldn't offload Luol Deng quick enough, which just also shows you the problem. But I remember that. Yeah, I remember some of the stories about Derrick Rose wouldn't help recruit, or that Jerry Reinsdorf wouldn't allow LeBron's team and LeBron's family on the team playing. Just stupid stuff like that. And then remember 4 years later, the Carmelo Anthony summer, that didn't get done. Even though there are some other reasons why that didn't happen, I'm not going to gossip, and I will not say that on this video. But I do believe there was more than just the Bulls presentation, as in the reason that Melo didn't come to Chicago. But they never could land into the big fish. Think about the trades. There was trades to get Amari Stoudemire. There was trades to, move up in the draft to be able to get Dwayne Wade in 2003. And they never got it done. But one thing you could say that you can give to the Garpax regime is they drafted well. They drafted well. Obviously, drafted Derrick Rose, which seems like a no-brainer, but I really think that Arturas Karnisovas would have drafted Michael Beasley over Derrick Rose. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. You drafted Derrick Rose, drafted Luol Deng, drafted, Kirk Hinrich. Even though I wanted them to trade up to get Derrick Rose, Kirk Hinrich was still a fine player. You drafted, a whole bunch of different players. Even Kobe White. You talk about Kobe White. He's one of the best players on the Bulls right now. That was Garpax's last draft pick. So if you look at the drafts that Arturas has done, and there was just so much. I remember 5 years ago, there was so much joy and happiness when Garpax got out of there. Gar Forman got fired, and really John Paxson did not get fired. John Paxson just, stepped down and moved into the shadows. He's still at every game. Now, I don't know what his job title is in the Chicago Bulls organization, but he still works there. And we were so hyped for Arturas, hyped for Mark Eversley. Mark Eversley had connections at Nike, and we thought that would help to get free agents. And it did help to get DeMar. Won't lie about that. It did help to get DeMar, but nothing of like real immense value that would help them win a championship. And Arturas, we would give him credit for helping building the Denver Nuggets. And this team looks nothing like any of those Denver Nugget teams, even prior to them winning the NBA championship. And they don't even hit on their draft picks. Like, I think right now their best draft pick is probably Ayo. It's got to be Ayo. Ayo's got to be their best draft pick. Matas, he's got some potential. Maybe he'll end up being that. But just so many misses. Patrick Williams. And, I don't even remember who some of the second rounders were. And I know Bulls fans are upset. And I think the thing that makes it the most irritating is that this is a basketball star city. We all know this is a Bears town. The city will go crazy if the Bears even go 9-8 or 8-9 or some shit like that. It's a Bears town first, and I think it's a Cubs town second. But the Bulls, when the Bulls are winning and the Bulls are in the playoffs, this city is electric, and it's something I can't explain. It's been 10 years since the Bulls have had a good team. I don't want to hear about that 2021, 2022 team that was good for like 3 months, and then it just fell off a cliff. We could talk about injuries with Zach and Lonzo, but I remember they were getting destroyed by the top 10 team. I never forget Lou. They on that one game, beginning of 2022, and everybody, the Bulls had the number one record in the East, and they were getting ready to play the Knicks. It was on ESPN. It was a big hyped up matchup, and the Bulls got absolutely outclassed, lost by like 35 points to that Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving team. And I know I feel bad for Bulls fans who don't even like. I know a lot of young people. who are in their 20s, and they remember they came about the Derrick Rose era, and the Derrick Rose era, the peak, the Eastern Conference Finals year was 14 years ago, bro. 14 years ago. Think about it. If you're like 22, you were 8, so you were my age. So like, yeah, you remember it, but that's the end. And then after that, there was nothing after. 2015 was the last legitimately good Chicago Bulls team. Then LeBron James hit that jump shot in game 4 and won it when the Bulls were seconds away from being up 3-1. And that was all she wrote. They lost the next 2 games, and the Bulls have not been good or been relevant ever since. I wish I had some positive stuff to say to Bulls fan. Oh, it's gonna be right. They just drafted Noah J. He's a French kid, and he looks like he has high upside. He looks like he's gonna be a project, and that he needs his jump shot worked on. That would actually help if you didn't fire your great shooting coach, which is just stupid. And now we're in the world of extensions. Arturas and Mark Eversley have been extended. For what? It makes no sense. Billy Donovan being expended. And I've always said that Billy Donovan is not the reason for this team being where it's at. I think Billy Donovan is a really, really good coach, but that don't mean you should extend him. Like, that don't make any sense either. And I think the thing that's annoying is the Bulls should be like the Boston Celtics. The Bulls should be like the Los Angeles Lakers because of that iconic brand. And I went to London last year to do the Bears Jaguars game. I saw as many Bulls jerseys as I saw Bears jerseys. It is an international brand, and they still keep trying to not even troll, but kind of disrespect the fan base for all this nostalgia. If you go on the Bulls Instagram page, during the summer, it ain't nothing but Throwback Thursday every day. Oh, well, let's take it back 35 years ago, our first championship. And those were great times. Those were amazing times. That dynasty is the reason I'm a sports fan. If I didn't, catch the second three-peat, I wouldn't be a sports fan. So I appreciate those times. But where are the new times? And they did the same thing last year with the Derrick Rose night when they could have just retired the jersey on the same night. But Bulls like to spread out the nostalgia, and they're doing it again when Derrick gets his jersey up there. And Derrick deserves it 100%, but it's all part of the nostalgia cycle that they keep throwing this stuff in Bulls fans' faces. And, it's easy. You can say, don't go to the games, don't watch it. I mean, I personally don't go to the games and I don't watch. I haven't watched a Bulls game front to back in about 2 years. I haven't been to a Bulls game in 3 years. I don't plan on doing it until things change. And I'm doing the same thing with the White Sox. But you can't expect the average fan to do that. Why should they? It's their team. It's their childhood team or a team they love. People treat sports teams as, just like family members. You have your great memories and things like that. So you can't expect them to not enjoy their team because they have shit owners. But at the same time, that's also what's going to hurt, because if you're the owner, obviously they don't care, because United Centers fill every night. It's the number one. They led the league in attendance again last year. They were top 5 in merchandise last year. So it's still a cash cow. They do not care about winning. It's to the point where I'm not even thinking about championship number 7. I would just like to see a team that's on the court that can at least make a top 6 record in the Eastern Conference. I'm tired of the play-in. And I can see even if they were making the play-in and winning the play-in, and they were still finding wins in the playoffs. They making a play-in and they're losing. I think they only made it to the second game once. So it's like, what's the point here? So I say all that to say this. This is by far the worst era of Bulls basketball. And it's going to be like this. I wish I could see light at the tunnel. I see a little bit of light at the tunnel for the White Sox. It's very, 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 very small light, crack under the door, but I can see it. It feels like there's no light in the tunnel for the Bulls. Not only is there no light, you're in a room that's inside of a dungeon that you can't even see the dungeon bars to the room you're currently in. It's that bad, and the team knows it too. Stacey King had his podcast, and he said, let's be real, the Bulls aren't going to win a championship. They're 5 or 10 years away. No, they're not. They're 5 or 10 years away from being 5 to 10 years away. It is ridiculous. It is a disgrace to the fans, and obviously it's a disgrace to the city. Chicago's a great city, great sports city, and we deserve a lot more than our basketball team to be the way it is, man. So I just want to do this video to give my thoughts on it, because I saw a lot of Bulls fans' frustration, and it's just going to be like that, unfortunately. Garpax is gone, but AK and Mark Eversley are even worse, and unfortunately, they are here to stay. So it's up to you. Are you going to be here to stay as well?